It began with a quiet summons to Kensington Palace, one so discreet that even long-time royal aides reportedly were not informed of its true purpose until the final moment. But when Princess Catherine emerged from that private meeting, carrying an expression palace insiders described as deeply emotional, whispers spread rapidly through royal corridors. Something significant had changed behind closed doors. And according to reports circulating through senior royal circles, the future Queen had just been granted a personal patronage, carrying echoes of the late Queen Elizabeth II herself. Before we go deeper into what this really means for the royal family, make sure to subscribe so you do not miss a single update. What made the atmosphere surrounding that meeting so unusual was not simply the secrecy, it was the silence afterward. Senior aides who normally briefed trusted correspondents reportedly avoided even the smallest hints about what had taken place inside Kensington Palace that afternoon. Doors remained closed longer than expected. Schedules were quietly rearranged. And according to palace insiders, even several members of household staff sensed an emotional tension hanging heavily through the corridors once the discussions concluded. By the time Prince William reportedly escorted Catherine through a private exit to avoid photographers, rumours had already begun spreading among royal circles that something deeply symbolic had just occurred. Sources close to the palace claim the confidential meeting involved not only William and Catherine, but also senior officials responsible for advising the monarchy's long-term future. That detail alone fueled enormous speculation. Such gatherings were rarely arranged unless decisions carried enormous institutional importance. But this time, according to insiders, the discussion was not about crisis management or public controversy. It was about legacy. More specifically, it was about whether Catherine had finally reached the point where the crown itself could no longer ignore the years of quiet sacrifice she had made behind the scenes. For years, royal watchers observed Catherine carefully balancing impossible expectations. She endured relentless scrutiny, maintained composure during moments that might have broken others, and slowly became one of the monarchy's most trusted figures, without ever appearing desperate for attention or recognition. Palace insiders allegedly believed Queen Elizabeth herself had long admired that restraint. Unlike louder personalities who often dominated headlines, Catherine reportedly understood the silent discipline the late Queen valued above everything else: duty without complaint, loyalty without performance, and service without constant self-promotion. That was why the patronage now being whispered about carried such emotional weight behind palace walls. According to reports circulating among senior royal aides, the personal patronage allegedly held symbolic ties to Queen Elizabeth's private philosophy of duty. Not merely another ceremonial title, insiders claimed it represented continuity, a quiet passing of responsibility from one generation to another. Those close to the family reportedly described Catherine as visibly overwhelmed when details of the role were explained to her during the meeting. One source allegedly revealed that there was a moment of complete silence after the significance of the patronage became fully clear. Another claimed Catherine briefly lowered her head and appeared emotional as officials outlined the expectations attached to the position. Prince William, according to insiders, viewed the decision as something far more personal than public recognition. Those close to the heir to the throne allegedly believed he had spent years watching Catherine shoulder enormous pressure while protecting both their family and the monarchy itself from instability. Through scandals, tensions, and internal fractures that repeatedly threatened the royal institution, Catherine remained steady, calm, disciplined. Palace figures reportedly said William privately felt this patronage was not a reward, but an acknowledgement of sacrifices few people outside royal walls would ever fully understand. And yet, what truly intensified speculation was the palace's reported insistence on delaying any immediate public discussion. Royal aides were allegedly instructed not to comment until official clearance was finalized, fueling rumors that senior figures understood the announcement would carry consequences far beyond symbolism. Because within royal circles, patronages linked to Queen Elizabeth's legacy were never viewed as ordinary gestures. They signaled trust, influence, positioning. And according to several insiders, this particular move quietly confirmed what many inside the monarchy had suspected for years, that Catherine's influence behind palace walls was becoming impossible to overlook. But the true significance of the patronage was not simply the title itself, it was the powerful royal legacy quietly attached to it from the very beginning. Long before Catherine officially stepped into the centre of royal life, the patronage itself reportedly represented something far greater than ceremonial duty. According to royal historians and palace whispers alike, it symbolized a quiet form of influence once perfected by Queen Elizabeth II during some of the monarchy's most turbulent years. It was never about public applause or dramatic headlines. It was about steadiness, discipline, emotional endurance. And insiders suggest that is precisely why Catherine's appointment now carries such extraordinary emotional weight inside the institution. What made the patronage so powerful was not its visibility, but its history. Palace observers have long claimed the role carried deep connections to causes personally valued by Queen Elizabeth herself, initiatives tied not to glamour or prestige, but to resilience during moments when the monarchy quietly struggled to preserve public trust. During difficult decades filled with internal conflict, public criticism, and painful family fractures, the late Queen reportedly relied on a very specific philosophy of survival. Never panic publicly, never chase sympathy, and never allow emotional chaos inside the family to weaken the image of stability outside palace walls. Those who understood that unspoken rule were often the ones she trusted most. According to royal insiders, Catherine gradually proved she understood that philosophy better than almost anyone expected. In the early years, she was often underestimated. Critics dismissed her calmness as passivity. Others questioned whether she possessed the strength required to survive the relentless pressure surrounding the future of the crown. But behind closed doors, senior royal figures allegedly began noticing something entirely different. While others reacted emotionally to scandals, leaks, and mounting tensions, Catherine reportedly remained disciplined, controlled, focused. Even during periods when public scrutiny intensified and family divisions threatened to dominate headlines, she rarely allowed visible frustration to define her public role. That restraint, according to palace sources, deeply impressed senior members of the institution. The late Queen was said to admire individuals who could endure pressure without demanding constant recognition for their sacrifice. Quiet loyalty mattered more to her than performance. And insiders now whisper that Catherine's ability to absorb pressure without creating instability gradually transformed the way palace officials viewed her future inside the monarchy. She was no longer seen merely as William's wife or the future Princess of Wales. Increasingly, she was viewed as something far more significant, the emotional anchor, capable of helping steady the institution during uncertain times. The emotional weight attached to the patronage reportedly became even clearer during recent royal crises. Behind palace walls, tensions surrounding family divisions, public controversies, and ongoing uncertainty allegedly forced senior royals to re-evaluate who within the institution could truly be relied upon when pressure reached its highest point. Several insiders claim Catherine's calm approach during those difficult periods became impossible to ignore. While headlines spiraled and speculation intensified, she reportedly maintained a level of composure that reassured not only William, but senior palace officials increasingly concerned about the monarchy's long-term stability. Prince William, according to those familiar with internal discussions, strongly supported the decision from the beginning. Sources suggest he privately believed Catherine had earned the trust now being placed in her through years of sacrifice invisible to the public eye. He allegedly understood better than anyone the emotional burden she carried, while protecting both their family and the institution itself from growing instability. And as conversations surrounding the patronage reportedly moved forward behind closed doors, insiders began sensing that this was about much more than honouring Catherine's dedication. It was about preparing the monarchy for an uncertain future where emotional resilience might become more valuable than royal tradition itself. By the time whispers surrounding the appointment slowly reached wider royal circles, many insiders reportedly realized the true significance of what was unfolding. This was not merely about recognizing loyalty, it was about signaling continuity, stability, survival. The patronage carried the unmistakable shadow of Queen Elizabeth's philosophy, and according to palace observers, placing it in Catherine's hands quietly revealed where senior royals believed the future emotional strength of the monarchy now rested. And as details surrounding the appointment slowly emerged, many inside royal circles began realizing this was not simply an honorary gesture, it was a carefully calculated signal about the monarchy's future. By the time the patronage was formally prepared for Catherine, reports suggest Prince William had already spent months quietly advocating for her behind palace walls. According to insiders familiar with internal royal discussions, the future king allegedly believed Catherine deserved recognition not only for her public composure, but for the emotional burden she carried privately, while helping stabilize the monarchy during years of relentless uncertainty. And in many ways, this appointment reportedly became William's quiet acknowledgement of everything she had endured beside him. Those close to royal operations claim William's support for Catherine intensified during some of the family's most difficult internal periods, when public controversies, growing tensions, and endless speculation placed extraordinary strain on the institution. Behind the polished public image, insiders allegedly witnessed a future king becoming increasingly aware of how much emotional pressure Catherine absorbed in silence. While headlines focused on division and scandal, sources claim William privately relied on Catherine as the one constant presence capable of bringing calm into situations that threatened to spiral beyond control. That dependence, according to palace whispers, slowly transformed into something much deeper than admiration. It became trust at the highest possible level. Royal observers reportedly noticed subtle changes in William over time. He became more protective, more guarded about Catherine's well-being. Palace staff allegedly observed him paying closer attention to her schedule, encouraging moments of privacy away from overwhelming public pressure, and quietly ensuring she was not overloaded during emotionally difficult periods inside the family. According to insiders, William understood something many outside the institution could not fully see, that Catherine's calm public image came at an enormous personal cost. She carried expectations few people could survive without breaking, yet she continued showing up with discipline, composure, and quiet determination even when the emotional strain behind closed doors reportedly became almost unbearable. Sources familiar with the discussions surrounding the patronage claim William strongly resisted the idea of Catherine receiving another purely ceremonial role, designed only for appearances. He allegedly wanted her responsibilities to carry genuine meaning, substance over spectacle, purpose over publicity. According to insiders, the future king believed the monarchy's survival increasingly depended on figures capable of rebuilding emotional trust with the public, not simply maintaining old traditions through formality alone. And within palace circles, many reportedly believed Catherine represented precisely that kind of modern royal strength. That perception, insiders claim, began growing stronger after years of observing how Catherine handled moments that could have destabilized others completely. She rarely responded emotionally in public, rarely fed controversy, rarely allowed tension to define her role. Instead, she reportedly focused on maintaining steadiness even when enormous personal pressure surrounded the family. Senior royal aides allegedly began describing her as one of the institution's few remaining stabilizing forces during periods of uncertainty. Not loud, not dramatic, but dependable. And according to palace observers, William increasingly viewed that emotional resilience as essential to the monarchy's future survival. The patronage itself, therefore, became far more personal than political. Sources close to the palace claim William did not see the appointment as a strategic maneuver designed to strengthen Catherine's public image. Instead, insiders whisper he viewed it almost as a private acknowledgement of sacrifice, a recognition of the years she spent quietly supporting both him and the crown, while carrying burdens the public would never fully understand. For William, according to reports, this was about honouring loyalty forged under pressure, endurance tested through silence, strength revealed not through power, but through emotional control during the institution's most fragile moments. And as whispers surrounding Catherine's growing institutional influence continued spreading through royal circles, another realization reportedly began unsettling palace insiders. The comparisons emerging behind closed doors were becoming impossible to ignore. Senior figures were no longer speaking about Catherine simply as the future queen beside William. Increasingly, they were discussing her in language once reserved for Queen Elizabeth herself, a woman defined not by spectacle, but by discipline, restraint, and unwavering emotional endurance during the monarchy's darkest storms. But what reportedly affected Catherine most was not the growing prestige surrounding the role, it was the emotional comparison quietly being made between her and the late Queen herself. For decades, Queen Elizabeth II represented a rare form of royal endurance, built not on spectacle, but restraint. She survived scandals, constitutional crises, family fractures, and relentless public scrutiny, while maintaining an image of unwavering calm. And according to palace insiders, comparisons between Catherine and the late Queen have reportedly intensified dramatically in recent years. Not because Catherine seeks attention, but because many inside the institution now see the same quiet resilience beginning to emerge in her. What makes those comparisons so emotionally powerful within palace walls is the history attached to them. Queen Elizabeth's strength was never defined by dramatic speeches or public displays of emotion. It was forged through silence, through discipline, through an almost unimaginable ability to absorb pressure, while continuing to project stability to a nation constantly watching her every move. During moments when the monarchy itself appeared vulnerable, the late Queen reportedly understood that panic inside the institution could quickly become panic outside of it. So she endured, quietly, relentlessly. And now, according to royal insiders, many senior figures believe Catherine has begun displaying that same rare emotional control during one of the monarchy's most uncertain modern chapters. Sources close to the palace claim Catherine's calm public image increasingly mirrors the exact approach Queen Elizabeth once relied upon to protect the crown during difficult periods. While public debates surrounding the royal family intensified in recent years, Catherine reportedly refused to become consumed by noise, speculation, or emotional confrontation. Instead, she maintained consistency, composure, stability, and according to palace observers, that restraint slowly transformed public perception of her in ways even senior courtiers may not have fully anticipated. Because in an era dominated by constant headlines, emotional reactions, and public conflict, Catherine's silence began carrying extraordinary weight. Royal insiders allegedly became especially aware of this during moments of family turmoil that threatened to deepen public mistrust surrounding the monarchy. Behind closed doors, tensions reportedly grew exhausting. Relationships became strained. Pressure mounted from every direction. Yet sources claim Catherine rarely allowed personal emotion to define her public role. Even while carrying enormous stress privately, she continued fulfilling responsibilities with controlled discipline that reminded many veteran palace figures of the late Queen herself. Some insiders reportedly admitted the similarities unsettled them emotionally, not because Catherine was attempting to imitate Elizabeth, but because the resemblance appeared to emerge naturally through circumstance and endurance. That emotional symbolism reportedly became inseparable from the patronage itself. Palace insiders whisper the role was never simply about charitable duty or ceremonial responsibility. It represented continuity between generations of royal women who carried the institution through instability, not by demanding power, but by quietly protecting trust. According to observers within royal circles, placing the patronage in Catherine's hands symbolized something deeply intentional, a recognition that the monarchy's future survival might depend less on tradition alone and more on emotional steadiness during periods of public uncertainty. What reportedly surprised many insiders most was how Catherine's popularity continued growing precisely because of her restraint. In a world where public figures often chase visibility, Catherine's refusal to constantly defend herself or compete for attention allegedly strengthened her image rather than weakening it. Senior courtiers reportedly began noticing that public trust surrounding her felt increasingly similar to the respect once surrounding Queen Elizabeth. Not flashy, not loud, but deeply rooted in reliability. People believed she would remain steady even during difficult moments, and inside the institution, that kind of public confidence is viewed as invaluable. According to Palace whispers, several senior royal figures now quietly see Catherine as essential to preserving long-term trust in the monarchy itself. Not because she dominates headlines, but because she represents emotional consistency during an era defined by instability. That realization reportedly carried enormous emotional weight during internal discussions surrounding the patronage. For many inside palace walls, the appointment no longer felt symbolic alone, it felt historic. Almost like the beginning of a carefully unfolding transition few were prepared to acknowledge publicly just yet. And as those conversations quietly spread through royal circles overnight, the atmosphere surrounding Catherine reportedly began shifting in ways impossible to ignore. Courtiers whispered. Advisors speculated. Longtime palace figures allegedly exchanged knowing glances behind closed doors. Because for the first time, many insiders reportedly sensed the monarchy was no longer simply preparing Catherine for greater visibility, it was preparing her for something far more profound. And by the following morning, whispers about Catherine's new role had already begun spreading far beyond Kensington Palace itself. By sunrise, the atmosphere inside royal circles reportedly felt noticeably different. Staff members who rarely discussed internal family matters were suddenly whispering about Catherine's emotional response to the patronage, while senior aides allegedly described the appointment as one of the clearest signs yet that the monarchy is quietly preparing for a future shaped heavily around the Prince and Princess of Wales. According to insiders, the emotional reaction inside palace walls surprised even longtime courtiers. This was not treated as another ceremonial announcement, it felt personal, symbolic, almost historic. Several senior royals reportedly praised Catherine privately following the decision, with sources suggesting many inside the institution believed the recognition was long overdue after years of loyalty, restraint and emotional endurance during some of the monarchy's most unstable moments. But beneath the growing prestige surrounding the patronage, something even more profound was quietly unfolding. For years, the monarchy has struggled beneath the weight of illness, public distrust, internal division, and uncertainty about its future. And according to palace insiders, Catherine's new role revealed the institution's growing belief that survival may now depend less on power, spectacle, or royal tradition alone, and more on emotional steadiness, public trust, and quiet leadership. Observers claim the appointment reinforced Catherine's growing centrality to the crown's future, while insiders whisper the decision may ultimately redefine her long-term influence within the monarchy itself. Sources suggest palace officials increasingly view Catherine as essential to preserving stability during an era filled with pressure and unpredictability. Alongside William, she reportedly represents a quieter, more disciplined image of monarchy one, built not around performance, but consistency and service. The patronage therefore became more than recognition. It became a signal, a declaration that the institution may already be shifting away from performative royal culture toward something far more emotionally grounded. And according to insiders, the symbolism attached to the role may shape Catherine's legacy for decades to come. Because behind the titles, ceremonies, and carefully guarded palace traditions, the message quietly sent by this patronage appeared unmistakable to those inside royal circles. The monarchy may already be preparing Catherine to carry forward the same quiet power, emotional endurance, and stabilizing influence that once defined Queen Elizabeth II herself. What many outside the palace fail to understand is that roles like these do not simply bring prestige, they bring enormous emotional responsibility. According to royal insiders, Catherine reportedly understands better than most how fragile the monarchy has become in recent years. Every appearance, every decision, every expression now carries symbolic meaning for an institution fighting to preserve public confidence during uncertain times. And insiders whisper the emotional burden of that reality has quietly transformed Catherine far more deeply than the public realizes. Sources claim the patronage intensified not only expectations surrounding the future Princess of Wales, but also comparisons to Queen Elizabeth II herself, a comparison carrying enormous emotional weight inside royal circles. According to palace observers, Catherine increasingly views her future not through the lens of status or privilege, but through duty and service. Years of public pressure, family turmoil, and constant scrutiny reportedly forced her to develop an emotional resilience few truly understand. Behind closed doors, insiders claim William has become fiercely protective of Catherine, as expectations surrounding her role continue growing heavier. He allegedly understands that the patronage represents both extraordinary honor and extraordinary pressure for the woman expected one day to stand at the center of the monarchy itself. And perhaps that is why the appointment carried such profound emotional significance within the institution. In the end, the patronage was never truly about ceremony or symbolism alone. It was about recognition. Recognition of years spent quietly protecting the monarchy through loyalty, discipline, and emotional endurance, while storms gathered around the House of Windsor. Reports suggest that even senior royal figures now understand something that once seemed uncertain. Catherine is no longer simply preparing to become queen someday. In many ways, she is already carrying the emotional weight of the crown itself. Sources suggest the appointment strengthened public trust, not only in Catherine personally, but in the Wales household as a whole. Observers believe her quiet leadership style increasingly mirrors the same restrained strength that once defined Queen Elizabeth's enduring legacy. And according to insiders, William privately views Catherine as the monarchy's greatest stabilizing force during an era filled with uncertainty, illness, division, and growing pressure on the institution's future. The emotional symbolism surrounding the role reportedly resonated across generations inside palace walls, reinforcing the growing belief that Catherine may now be central to preserving the monarchy's long-term stability. Because while history often remembers monarchs for crowns, ceremonies, and public triumphs, the House of Windsor has always survived through something far quieter: emotional endurance, sacrifice, restraint, and unwavering duty during moments of crisis. And according to palace whispers, Catherine may now embody that silent strength more than anyone else in the royal family. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you in next one.